Appreciate you guys being here. Obviously already been prepping for a little over a week for a great Louisville football team. A lot of talent, a lot of NFL talent all over the entire roster. Very well coached football team, very physical, fast, explosive. They've got probably the most and more, an abundance of proven playmakers on their football roster right now, and certainly they find a way to get them the ball, but it's not just relegated to their skill guys. I mean, they've got really good, athletic, big offensive linemen. Their running backs get downhill, can get outside, through you, around you. Their defensive line has been extremely disruptive. Top 10 red zone team, both offensively and defensively. Top defense on total defense in the conference as well. And certainly they've battled a lot of balls, gotten their hands on a lot of interceptions as well. I believe they lead the conference as well in passing defense. So again, just a really, really good, really talented football team, and a tremendous opportunity for our team on Friday night.
It's funny because we often think of Jeff's teams as not one-dimensional, but he's an offensive coach, and that's how they won a lot of games is with playmakers on that side of the football. But he has a lot on defense too. How much do they sort of jump off the sheet at you?
Yeah, it really pops. It's as a complete of a team as we have faced or will face all year long, both in their play style and in their talent levels. They have done an excellent job forcing negative plays, disrupting the schedule of the offense. They just play really hard, really fast. They communicate really well. They give you a number of different looks, both up front and on the back end. Disguise their coverages really well. And they get to the ball with bad intentions. They force a lot of turnovers, but just a really impressive football team.
And just speaking of Jeff Brom on the offensive side, we praised him this morning on the radio. The last two games against him, they've been high-scoring, back-and-forth games. Just what did you learn about his play-calling style, the way he works in the last years of playing him?
It's a lot of respect for him. I mean, he's one of the best, if not the best, play caller in college football, and has been doing it for a long, long time. And again, they just do a great job with their personnel, with their football team.
How'd you come out of the bye week, just in terms of personnel and getting work done and the balance of rest versus building stuff?
I think over the years we've found a pretty good formula, one we feel comfortable with, where we're getting the right amount of both. We're also investing in strength and conditioning and nutrition and recovery. Modern day, in terms of that, is just taking on a whole new life of its own, right? The ability to get your players to optimal levels as it relates to readiness and physicality and whatnot. But we did practice, and we practice hard, but we invested in what we're doing schematically, what we've done well, what we haven't done so well. Technically, what we have done well and not so well also, from the use of our hands to our hat position, pad level, eye discipline, whatnot, communication. So we challenged our guys and at the same time provided them opportunities to just get better with extra meeting time, extra walkthrough time, and of course, extra practice time while still focusing on the importance of our opponent on Friday night.
You talked a lot during your time here about how it was not a knock at one time to play special teams. It didn't mean you were a third team guy. You wanted your best players out there playing a lot of special teams. The value, I forgot to ask you last time we talked to you a week ago, but the value of what Wesley did on the hands team at Florida State, just to have somebody make those two game-saving plays when you really think about it, the importance of having veteran guys, really good players contribute on special teams.
We do. We have a lot of our frontline guys, when I say frontline guys, starters or contributors all over special teams, because it can never be that phase that you do in between offense and defense. Coach Johnson would always tell us, you got to win 2 or 3 phases to win the football game. And so we've improved a lot on special teams, and we're facing a team that is very aggressive on special teams. Got us with a fake last year that really changed the momentum of the game. And so we understand that. We understand the value of, the way our punter and kicker have been playing, and the fact that they have, what's arguably the best returner in the game as well, I think he has 2 touchdowns already and has a couple other big returns. He averages over 20 yards a punt return. So the importance of that has been emphasized, and that's also a big area of focus throughout the bye week.
You've emphasized, since being here, the importance of a team being player-led. During this bye week, did you see any positive signs of that continuing to take hold accountability or player-led leadership?
We impose that upon them all the time, and there comes a point in time on every roster where the guys that you send out for the coin toss, right? They've got to take over, right? There comes a point in time where those guys just got to, from an alpha standpoint, as a leader, as a real deal dude, like you've got to set the tone in the locker room, in meetings, and in practice. And we're seeing that more and more. This is a really hard-working group of dudes. They're tough, they're driven, they're really interested in just getting better and winning, and they have zero issues getting pushed, because we push hard. You guys have been around practice, you see the way that we push. They are very in tune and very much, I would say almost, they appreciate the fact that we push and that we're on them hard and that we're tough on them. It's not easy to be a Miami Hurricane, but they recognize that they have an opportunity to do really good things, but that we're nowhere near where we need to be, and the only way to get there is through working at it and accomplishing that throughout the week to make that carry over to Fridays and Saturdays.
Mario, is there anything you have to change up just with the quirky schedule the last couple of weeks? Game by week, Friday night game. Like, is there anything you have to change up just the last couple of weeks to just keep things fresh, or make things work with the weird schedule?
I think if I start making a big deal of it, then it becomes a big deal with the players. It is what it is. You're never going to get the perfect schedule. You're never going to have the perfect anything in life. And I think it's important for us, and we're all adults. I think our players are adults. It's important for us to set the tone with that as well. Whatever comes our way, all right, so what? Like, now what? Let's roll. Let's do what we do. So I think what we all know is that the bottom line is at Friday at 7 p.m., the ball will be placed in the tee and kicked off. And between the time we've had and that time, we got to do our best to prepare.
Corey's obviously a new member of the group, but when you get to this point in the year and just seeing how there's a lot to like, obviously. I know there's a lot still to work on, a lot to clean up, but there's a lot for you guys to like. How much of that is a byproduct of continuity amongst the staff, and that people have better understanding of their jobs and their roles?
Yeah, you probably never ever get to tell the full story till way down the line, right? As years go by, and I think continuity, the right type of continuity. You could have the wrong type of continuity, and that could sink you, and sometimes your best allies and your best advocates are in the building, and sometimes the worst ones are, right? So I think we've done a really good job selecting, streamlining, making the right additions, to our staff, all those things combined to get to a place where I think these guys, the people in the building, the men and women, from academics to development, recruiting, they all are like, they're really in, and they add to the culture. They're all about the culture. They understand that, we're not perfect. We have our warts like anybody else, but that, like, deep down at the core of what we do, what we want to do, like, it's real, it's demanding, it's gonna make and get the best out of everybody. And so they bring it, and we're getting better. We're getting better as a staff, just like we are as a team and a program. So, and just like we talk about how we still have a ways to go, we still have a ways to go as a staff. Corey's brought a lot to the table. He really has. He's as you know, he's a special dude. He really is. He's a special one, and he's only going to keep doing better and better things.
To kind of follow up on Adam's question about scheduling. It is scheduled what it is. You can't change it. But Friday night in South Florida is high school football. Mm-hmm. Would you almost rather not ever see Friday night games, or how does it affect the bigger picture of what you're trying to do?
In college football, it's, in my opinion, it was meant for, I'm not in any way, shape, or form has anything to do with this particular game. It's been scheduled for a while, and we haven't discussed anything about it that's negative. If you look at big picture wise, you always would love for Thursdays and Fridays to be high school, and it belongs to them, and then Saturdays for college, and then Sundays for the NFL. But there's so much football to be played. I think there's 50 straight days of football, so there's enough to go around. And I'm all about it. Play football every day, as long as humanly possible, and the world will be a better place.
Mario, with the past game, we've seen a lot of CJ, we've seen a lot of Malachi. What are your thoughts on just the rest of the receiver core and the importance of finding maybe a third or fourth guy to step up to help to spread everything around in the passing game?
Well, I think they are there, and I think the ball finds you in this offense, right? This is the way that we run our offense. It's not designed for one guy to get the ball all the time. It is designed to attack coverages, coverage structures, right? What defense is giving and taking away. And so if you do what you're supposed to do in this offense, the ball finds you. So you'll see from last year to the year before now this year, certain guys have more statistical impressive games than others at different times of the year in different games. So we're not concerned about that. I think the players understand that that's the way this offense is structured, and that as long as they bust their butts and do the right things and play really, really hard, which we have to play harder and get better, that the ball will find them. And it's all about doing your job, man. Doing your job and making routine plays work out in a big way.
Does it surprise you that the buy-in has been so high on that front, just because it was the same thing last year too? But kids are playing for money now, and you're paid commensurate with how you perform in a lot of ways. And right, wrong, indifferent. That's the way it is now. A kid's going to look at 6 for 109 and say I played really well, and see one catch for 11 yards and say I didn't. And yet your kids don't seem to complain much about that. How are you avoiding that Pandora's box?
We're just being very honest. I mean, we work really, really hard, and 6 for 109 might have 12 mental errors and 4 poor blocks to it. So you're going to be ripped just as much as the guy that ran the wrong route and dropped the ball. So, I mean, we're very big picture oriented, and by that I mean team first mentality, knowing that, for example, the 16 scouts that were out there today, they're not necessarily all interested in stats now. They want to know how you play the game and what you bring to the table and all that stuff. I mean, it screams on film, from the way you come out early for walkthrough to whether you have your shirt tucked in and you're busting your butt in the run game as a receiver, whether you're finishing your blocks on offense. So I think that stands out, and I think we also we're getting better. So it's probably a little bit harder to play at Miami than it was a few years ago, and hopefully more and more good players want to come here so that the competition gets better. Because the one thing we are seeing, competition is bringing out the best out of our guys, and that's the only way to fulfill our promise to them to make them the best that they can be. So we're going to stay along those lines.
Every game has had 60,000 tickets out or something, like 60,000 or more for every game. I know when you're down there, you don't notice if it's 6 million or 6 people. I get that, but how much do you think that matters to the kids when they know that there's a crowd there behind them that they're going to appreciate?
Well, we all notice. I mean, once the ball's kicked off, I mean, you might as well be on outer space, right? I mean, you're focused on what you're doing. But yeah, it's the support of the community, the passion of the community, the diehards that have come out, the new ones that have come out, the way that they've packed that stadium and brought the noise and brought that juice and energy. It's been awesome. And now, just like, we have to continue to get better. And when we do some good, sustain that energy, that's what we need out of our fan base as well. We got to bring it, man. We play some really good football teams. Hard Rock is a place that we take a lot of pride in, going in there and playing well for our people, our families, our community, for the Canes, right? And so just as importantly is, we need them there, and we're always going to, demand their absolute best every time they come out.
Looking at Bryce Fitzgerald, obviously he's had some big plays super early in his career. The fact that he came in later than everyone else and hit the ground running, just what was the work he had to put in to basically catch up and then kind of surpass people and get on the field?
I mean, it's very similar, I guess. Guys have done it here, like what Mark Fletcher, right? OJ was another one, right? It's, football's a developmental sport, and you never can completely predict if it's going to happen day 1, year 3, year 4. We've had so many guys, probably equal talent levels, that have gotten it at different points in their career. So credit to him, the time he's invested. Credit to him for his ability to really turn it up when he was demanded and called upon in practice to perform and go out there and do it against, our frontline players. So, and he's only getting better as well. He'll tell you right now, there's so many parts of his game he's got to get better at. So, work in progress. Proud of him for what he's done so far. But he well knows, because I'm on him every day, he can expect that. We went to the same high school, so he he's got to keep bringing it, but special future for him.
Is there any special little, spark when it's a Columbus guy? Oh,
Yeah, there is. But I'm just on him all the time. I guess I'm on everybody, but yeah, absolutely.
How did Jordan Lytle look to you in his first, when he came back in the FSU game?
I think he's close. I thought he was close last week. I think he's there now. Excited to see him be fully healthy and go out there and play to his capabilities. People forget that game one, and all those guys are co-starters to us. But when we rolled out there, he took the first couple snaps against Notre Dame. He's a special player. Football hurts, man. Football hurts, and you get nicked up, you get banged around a little bit, and sometimes you could play through it, and sometimes you don't look as good playing through it, and some things take a little bit longer. His took a little bit longer than expected, than even he expected, but it was never a matter of him not trying. He's always worked his butt off. He's a tough-ass dude. He's a driven guy. He's a team guy, and he's ready to roll, so I'm excited to see him.
Mario, how have you and your staff been able to utilize the 5 weeks in regards to recruiting, seeing guys? And has that been an advantage that it's been 2 bye weeks close together in terms of recruiting?
You'd like to space it out more. You'd like it almost like a quarter system, but it is what it is. You're only allowed 33 evals. That means, like, if you count the staff, you send out 10 staff guys on a Wednesday, that's 10 of your 33. So you have to be very strategic. You have to cover a lot of ground. And we did. It's just the balance of making sure that you don't miss any part of our players' development, because we invest a lot in development. We invest a lot in being around our guys. And at the same time, getting to the places we have to get to not only recruit, but to evaluate, right? You want to see these guys that you're recruiting, and how are they performing? Do they respond in competitive situations? How do they play against really good competition? How do they play deep into the season when they're in, a favorable position for the postseason, or whether they're not, right? You want to see their competitive character. So there's really no balance. You just go. Your bye weeks are just as busy, if not maybe even a little bit busier, minus the Saturday, than a regular, in-season week.
You haven't, obviously, it's just the one road game so far, and I guess SMU the next
Yeah.
one. That's crazy. How did you assess silent communication and all that in a true noisy road environment? How did that work?
I think we prepared well. The sound system that we have here, you could turn that thing up to 110 plus decibels, and it was at that. We always research how loud a place can get, and you just, you drown out any potential verbal communication that your staff and your players can have. We make it very difficult on the staff and players, to the point where they're upset, throughout practice, and good. Need to be upset, need to be pissed, need to find a way to make it work, because when we left that stadium, everybody was like, damn, thank God we did that. That really helped us prepare for this game and be successful.